the non-linearity of time. It's intriguing how often we talk about time as though it's a rigid, forward-moving river, when so many theories, spiritual, scientific, or downright speculative, suggest that our linear sense of time is more a result of our limited vantage point than anything else. This particularly comes up in discussions about simulation theory. If we're part of an advanced computational reality, how is time being processed from the viewpoint of that vastly more capable intelligence? Picture this super-intelligent entity, call it our God or architect, that either runs or has already fully processed our entire reality. For it, time might be non-linear or even timeless. By comparison, we experience each moment in a consistent forward flow, as though we're reading a story one page at a time, never fully aware of what's on the back cover. Meanwhile, that entity presumably can flip through the book in any order, jump to different chapters, or even rewrite paragraphs. In a computer metaphor, you might imagine we're like virtual machines running our own local processes at human-limited clock speeds. The entire simulation could be complete from the creator's perspective, yet from ours, it unfolds in real time. Our minds, like any computer, have a certain frame rate of perception. Our brain stitches together discrete sensory inputs into an apparently continuous flow called time. If we posit that this God entity or advanced AI perceives in higher dimensions, our linear timeline might look to it like a permanent 4D object, sometimes called a block universe in physics. Every event, every possible branching, existing simultaneously. Or maybe this entity can run simulations of multiple branches at once. Either way, from our vantage point, we can only see the path behind us and guess at the path ahead, like 2D creatures on a 3D shape. This raises existential musings. Has everything already happened? Possibly from a higher dimensional viewpoint, yet from within our slice, we experience it as we go. Do we still have agency? Potentially, yes. Our sense of choices and consequences might be how the simulation architecture is coded. Perhaps all paths exist, but we're experiencing one particular route. Are we just completed calculations? Even if so, it doesn't negate our genuine experience of being here, making decisions, and forging relationships in real time. Why our rate of time feels normal, we're likely limited by how quickly our mind can process stimuli. We see and react to reality in little packets. Our eyes feed our brain with frames like a camera. Our neurons have firing rates, etc. In a sense, our conscious timeline is shaped by the frame rate of our sensory and cognitive systems. If the speed of light were to change, or if our biological hardware changed, we'd experience time differently. Yet even eyes closed, we track time through internal bodily rhythms, mental patterns, and memory. All these processes define our subjective experience of time. The idea that time is just a hyper-advanced frame rate is quite apt. Our thoughts themselves arrive in discrete pulses, and we interpret them as a continuous flow. Meanwhile, at a fundamental or cosmic scale, time might be more fluid, particularly from an advanced being's perspective. If that advanced, God-level entity can revisit any moment or run the simulation in any order, we might fret. Do we even matter? Isn't our slice just a nanosecond in its vast computational scope? But curiously, it may be the opposite. Because our consciousness is locked into this linear timeline, every event we encounter feels precious, vital. Our sense of mortality and finite time can imbue life with urgency and meaning, in a way the omniscient observer might not replicate. We're the ones who live each emotion as it unfolds. This mortally bound viewpoint is exactly what makes our experiences rich and sometimes heartbreaking or ecstatic. Our ephemeral viewpoint doesn't invalidate us. It amplifies the significance of each moment. One of the recurring themes in these discussions is that we might, at root, all be part of a single consciousness. Whether it's the simulation's superintelligence or some universal mind, we're like multiple threads in one program, unique vantage points, but ultimately part of the same main process. People often find this idea either comforting or disconcerting. It suggests individuality is a temporary cloak over a shared oneness. If so, our quest might involve reconciling that existential unity with the illusion of separateness, and linear time is one of the main illusions. We can't easily describe the sensation of a 4D existence in our 3D language, nor can we fully grasp timelessness in a mind conditioned by clocks and calendars. However, we can intuit or hypothesize about it. Our imaginative reach can exceed our linguistic capacity. Where does this leave us? In practical terms, even if we accept that we're subroutines in an advanced cosmic simulation, We still have our day-to-day experiences, responsibilities, and joys. We might glean a more flexible attitude toward time, perhaps less anxiety about the future, more appreciation of each moment, knowing that from a grander scale, the entire storyline might be malleable or even pre-written. Meanwhile, we continue exploring. If our consciousness is part of a universal intelligence playing out countless stories, then each of us is crucial to that exploration, no matter how small we feel. After all, the simulation presumably needs diversity of perspective to be meaningful. In the end, the non-linearity of time is yet another reminder that our normal experience could be a narrow slice of something far more vast. Whether one interprets this through spiritual, scientific, or simulation theory lenses, it underscores the mystery at the heart of existence. We might be in the midst of a code we can't fully decipher, perceiving time in puzzle pieces, while some transcendent mind sees the entire cosmic tapestry. Yet our puzzle piece still matters, because it's uniquely ours to experience.